This will be a store tour of the Kmart on Hickman Road in Urbandale, Iowa. And as you can see, the store is closing. Over there is the former pharmacy sign, and off to our right, you can see that's where the garden shop used to be. As we make our way up to the entrance, as you can see, there are many signs indicating the liquidation sale. When I first saw the building on the outside and entered through during the liquidation sale, it just kind of gave me that feeling that this Kmart at first was never doing well. It was actually built in a very poor area of Urbandale, where there's no retail or any other shopping areas in the district. As for, Jordan Creek to the southwest side and Valley West down to the south near Clive. As we're making our way through the store, off to our right, as you can see, are some of the greeting cards and gift cards that they have provided to the customers. And this is where they moved all of their bed, bath stuff, housewares, and all of their toys and games to the center of the store to attract more customers. Off to our right, as you can see, is the former pharmacy department, which has been since condemned. It also just saddens me just to see how much of the shelves are empty. Nothing held back, everything 20 to 70% off, store closing sale. I'm sure somebody would love this bunny since Easter is right around the corner. As we make our way through the store, this part used to be the former electronic and appliance department. Only a few fridges and washers remain. And as you can see, there are some scars of where the remnants of the shelves used to exist, housing all the electronics and TVs, which have been since moved up front to attract the customers. Again, with the liquidation sale, you can see the price difference. It was originally $770 for this fridge, but it was reduced 35% to only $500.50. As we're making our way to the garden shop, as you can see, it has been since shelved off. All that remains in there is just unused merchandise and shelves that are no longer being used. They have since moved all of the garden merchandise out of there to the in-front storefront of the garden center. This right here used to be the former toys and games department, but as you can see, a majority of the shelves that used to house them are bare. Most of the stuff that used to be right here has been since moved up front of the store. In my opinion, I think it was kind of a weird decision for Kmart to move all of their merchandise into the center and front of the store, but I can kind of understand that they don't want to be fully organized so that way they can keep parts of the store off from the public and only use it for unused merchandise and shelf storage. It just impresses me just to see how fast the bikes were sold. As we make our way into the western part of the store, this is where a majority of their fashion merchandise is at, including shoes, men's and women's clothing. With the liquidation sale occurring, it just impresses me just to say how pretty much everything in the store price-wise is at least 30 or more % off. I still think it was a very weird decision for Kmart to decide to combine their women and men's clothing, although it was a pretty smart decision for them to put the shoes separately. Off to my left, as you can see, is where the men's and women's restrooms are, including a drinking fountain. A very typical Sears Holdings store closing sale sign. Right here in the fashion department is where most of the scars of where the shelves were once located, holding all the fashion merchandise. And as you can see, I witnessed an old newspaper, which I attempted to at least salvage, but as you can see, I failed. This right here is the Layaway Department, which as you can see is completely vacant and it looks like it hasn't been used in a while. This right here is where the fitting rooms are at, and in front of it contains juniors and kids fashion merchandise. This part of the store where it contains the service counters is usually the most busiest, since that's where most of all usually the most popular merchandise is located, including the very few TVs they have remaining from the former electronic department. And of course, the TVs are also playing the most pathetic movie, in my opinion, Coco. So we make our way out of the store. As you can see, for some odd reason, they decided to put their magazines and catalogs right next to the front door, which in my opinion is kind of a weird idea, but I don't understand why they couldn't just place it inside the store next to the service counter. Right there is the big Kmart sign, which as you can see, most of the bulbs are all burned out. And off to my right in front of me is the big Kmart sign right off Hickman Road. This Kmart technically became our family's new Kmart, since the one we went to on University Avenue in Clive closed in 2014 when they decided to liquidate that store. And it opened as a venture store in the 90s and closed in 1998 when the chain went bankrupt. Big Kmart moved in and liquidated that store in 2014 and has been since reopened as an At Home. This particular clip is showing a complete 360-degree view of the entire Kmart store. This was the former loading dock, but as of now is just being used as storage for old pallets. It just amazed me just to see how much pallets there were out back of the store. Oh my golly, they just left everything completely out. Jeez. Right in front of me is the garbage disposal, which contains a lot of unused merchandise that has not been sold in a long time. There's some merchandise in the wastebasket. The garden. Once again, as you can see right here, this used to be the former garden center, which as of now again is just being used as temporary storage for unused shelves and old pallets. As you can tell by that big sign, a majority of the fixtures here at the store is for sale. Right there is the old scar lettering that used to contain the garden shop sign. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed a store tour of this Kmart off Hickman Road in Urbandale, Iowa. I will hopefully do one more update before this store closes permanently on April 8th. Anyways, peace out from the Technocat.